Don't blink. Imagine you haven't taken a shower for the last 7 days. No soap, no deodorant, no toothpaste, no clean clothes. By now, you'd probably assume you smell terrible. But here's the strange part. If an ancient human walked past you, they might think you were the one with the unpleasant smell. Because what they feared wasn't body odor. It was the smell of disease, the smell of rotten food, the smell of contaminated water, the smell that could mean death.
Today, we associate being clean with perfumes, shampoo, and fresh laundry. But for almost all of human history, none of those things existed. Yet somehow, our ancestors survived for hundreds of thousands of years without modern hygiene. So, did ancient humans actually smell bad? The answer is far more surprising than most people imagine. Because one of the biggest myths about the prehistoric world is that people were simply filthy. In reality, their bodies worked differently, their environment was different, and even the bacteria living on their skin were different.
In fact, scientists now know that sweat itself is almost odorless. The smell we call body odor isn't produced by sweat. It's produced when bacteria break sweat down, especially inside warm and closed clothing. But for most of human history, people spent nearly every day outdoors. Their skin was exposed to fresh air. Their clothes were simple, or sometimes they wore very little at all. Which means the smell you imagine probably wasn't the smell they actually had. And that raises an even bigger question. If they didn't have soap, toothpaste, or deodorant, how did they keep themselves healthy? The answer begins with fire. The biggest surprise may not be body odor at all. It might be their teeth.
Today, most people brush twice a day, use toothpaste, use mouthwash, and still end up with cavities. But many prehistoric humans had healthier teeth than we do. How? Because the biggest enemy of your teeth isn't the absence of toothpaste, it's sugar. For hundreds of thousands of years, people ate wild meat, nuts, roots, berries, and seasonal fruit. Very little of that food stayed stuck to their teeth. Then agriculture arrived. Grains became common, carbohydrates increased, the bacteria that cause cavities exploded. In other words, human teeth didn't become worse because people stopped cleaning them. They became worse because civilization changed the menu. That doesn't mean ancient people ignored their mouths. Far from it. Archaeologists have found evidence of chew sticks used thousands of years ago. One end was chewed into soft fibers, creating a natural brush. Some plants, like miswak, even contain antibacterial compounds that help reduce plaque naturally. So while they didn't have toothpaste, they still understood something important. A clean mouth meant a healthier body. But smelling clean and staying healthy were not always the same thing. What do you think mattered more for survival? Clean teeth or fire, a smoky body? Comment just one word: teeth or smoke. Because smoke followed them everywhere. If you walked into an Ice Age camp, the first thing you would probably notice wouldn't be sweat, it would be fire. Smoke clung to their hair, their skin, their clothes, their blankets, everything. To us, that might sound unpleasant. To them, it meant warmth, cooked food, protection from insects, and safety through the night. In fact, your nose was one of your greatest survival tools. Before laboratories, before expiration dates, before thermometers, people trusted smell. A strange scent in water could mean danger. Rotting meat meant disease. The smell of smoke meant your people were close. Even the scent of another human could reveal illness long before modern medicine existed. For our ancestors, smell wasn't just something you noticed. It was information. And surviving often depended on reading it correctly. Before clothing became part of everyday life, body odor wasn't the problem many people imagine. Ironically, clothes changed everything. As humans spread into colder climates, animal skins became essential. They kept people warm, but they also trapped sweat, held moisture, and created the perfect place for tiny parasites to live. Scientists know this because of body lice. Unlike head lice, body lice don't live in hair. They live inside clothing. Their DNA suggests they split from head lice tens of thousands of years ago, around the same time humans began wearing clothes regularly. In a strange way, tiny parasites have helped reveal one of the biggest milestones in human history. But ancient people didn't simply accept living with them. Archaeologists have discovered combs made from wood, bone, and ivory. Many were carefully carved, specifically to remove lice and tiny insects from hair. One ancient comb even carries an inscription that reads, "May this comb remove the lice from the hair and the beard." Cleaning wasn't about looking attractive. It was about staying alive. And unlike today, it was rarely something you did alone. Imagine sitting beside the fire while someone patiently combed your hair, removed parasites, and checked your skin for wounds. Among early humans, just as among chimpanzees today, grooming wasn't only hygiene. It was trust. It strengthened friendships, protected children, and helped keep entire communities together. Evidence also suggests that Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens kept waste away from where they slept, whenever possible, not because they understood bacteria, but because they understood something simpler. Bad smells often meant danger. Rotting food attracted scavengers. Waste attracted insects. Keeping camp clean, or moving to a new one, reduced the risk of disease long before anyone knew what germs were. So, did ancient humans smell bad? Sometimes, probably. After a long hunt, days of travel, or weeks inside heavy animal skins, they almost certainly carried strong, natural odors. But they were never as filthy as we often imagine. They cleaned their teeth, washed in rivers, used sand, clay, and ash to clean their bodies, protected their sleeping places from insects, and cared for one another every single day. Perhaps that's the biggest surprise. Modern hygiene is designed to make us smell pleasant. Ancient hygiene was designed to keep people alive. Before you go, what would you miss the most if you woke up 50,000 years ago? A hot shower? A toothbrush? Or soap? Comment just one. Shower? Toothbrush? Or soap? And if living without modern hygiene sounds difficult, imagine suffering a broken leg with no doctor, no antibiotics, no painkillers. For most of human history, that wasn't a nightmare. It was everyday life. Click the next video to discover how ancient humans survived before medicine, because some of the treatments they used sound impossible today, yet many of them actually worked.